The tides that answer, how repeated emotional choices train a life. The town always smelled like salt and old wood in winter. The ocean did not crash here the way it did in summer. It breathed. Long, patient exhales rolled under the fog and slipped between the houses like they belonged there. People said the quiet months revealed who you really were. No tourists. No noise. Just you and whatever thoughts followed you home. Evan Mercer had lived in Port Ellison for 38 years, and every winter he told himself the same thing. This one would be different. Different usually meant lighter. Less tight in the chest. Less bracing for impact. Less waking up already tired. He owned a small repair shop near the docks. Outboard motors, generators, whatever rusted when salt met neglect. Honest work. Predictable. Yet Evan carried a constant low-level irritation, like a radio tuned slightly off station. Not loud enough to complain about, but always there. The mistake he repeated was simple, almost invisible. Every morning, before his boots hit the floor, Evan checked the weather app, the tide report, and his messages. And every morning, if the forecast looked grim or a client message sounded tense, he muttered some version of, "Here we go again." He did not notice how often he said it. The first consequence was small. A cracked mug on a cold morning. He cursed it, cleaned it, replaced it. Nothing dramatic. The second came a week later, when his generator delivery was late. Evan paced, jaw tight, narrating the inconvenience to no one. By the time the truck arrived, he was already angry, and the driver responded in kind. Words were exchanged. Nothing explosive. But the day felt heavier than it needed to. The third consequence arrived quietly and stayed. A woman named Maren moved into the blue house across the inlet. She walked the beach every morning, even in sleet, moving slowly, as if time had agreed to give her more of itself. People noticed her because she smiled at nothing in particular. Evan noticed her because she seemed unaffected. One morning, while he wrestled a frozen lock at the shop, Maren passed by and said, "Cold has a way of clarifying things." Evan snorted. "Yeah, clarifies how miserable it is." She smiled, not correcting him. Just observing. And walked on. Weeks passed. Evan's days followed the same rhythm. Wake. Scan for problems. Brace. React. Go home tired. And each time he braced, each time he leaned into irritation before anything had actually gone wrong, something did. A tool slipped. A client cancelled. A pipe burst in the back room, soaking cardboard boxes he had meant to move later. Later never came. The real cost was not the repairs or the money. It was the way Evan's body now expected resistance is less than #0. 3# is greater than, shoulders raised, breath shallow. He did not remember choosing this posture. It had trained itself. One evening, during a particularly bitter storm, the power went out across town. Evan lit candles and cursed the utility company, the wind, the winter, his luck. Across the inlet, the blue house glowed warmly, generator humming, lights steady. Something inside him snapped. Not in anger, but curiosity. The next morning, Evan walked the beach earlier than usual. He found Maren standing near the tide line, eyes closed, coat open to the cold. "Aren't you freezing?" he asked. "Probably," she said, "but my body knows how to handle cold. It's my thoughts that used to panic." That word, used to, caught. "You make it sound like a choice," Evan said. "It is not the weather, not the town, the response." He almost argued, almost listed reasons, almost defaulted. Instead, he noticed the ocean, Calm, grey, steady. How? He asked, surprising himself. Maren did not answer right away. I used to do what you're doing, she said gently. Scan for what might go wrong. Call it realism. Prepare for disappointment. That's just being smart, Evan said. She nodded. That's what I thought. Until I noticed how often my preparations became invitations. That phrase followed him all day. Preparations became invitations. Evan tried to ignore it, but the pattern was now loud enough to hear. That night, his furnace failed. The house went cold fast. Evan swore, threw on a jacket, and drove to the shop to grab a space heater. The roads were slick. His tires spun. For the first time, fear joined the irritation. This always happens, he said aloud. The words hung there. Always. He pulled over, heart pounding. And something clicked, not softly, but with the weight of repetition finally noticed. This was not winter punishing him. This was momentum. The realization did not fix the furnace, but it changed something deeper. Evan sat in the car, breath fogging the windshield, and did something unfamiliar. He stopped narrating. No commentary, no prediction, just the sound of the engine, the dark water beyond the road. The tightness in his chest loosened slightly. Enough to notice, enough to continue. Over the next days, Evan experimented, not with optimism, but with neutrality. When a thought leapt ahead to problems, he paused it. Not replaced it, just did not follow. The effect was subtle at first. Fewer sharp edges. A little more energy at the end of the day. Then something unmistakable happened. A long-term client, one Evan had labelled difficult for years, came in with a smile. Apologised for past tension. Offered a referral. Evan felt the old reflex rise. Suspicion. Waiting for the catch. He let it pass. The referral turned into steady work. Winter continued. Storms came. Pipes froze. But Evan noticed something strange. The events were similar. The experience was not. Where resistance used to pile up, there was now space. Where exhaustion followed effort, there was a sense of alignment. He was not forcing good days. He was allowing easier ones. One morning, he caught himself before saying, "Here we go again." Instead, he said nothing. The silence felt like relief. On the last cold morning of the season, Evan walked the beach and found Maren packing a small bag. "Leaving?" he asked. "Moving with the tide," she said. "You?" He looked at the water. "Staying, but differently." She smiled, as if that was the point all along. As she walked away, Evan realized the mistake loop had not punished him. It had trained him. Every repeated reaction had set his tone. Every tone had shaped his days. And every day had quietly confirmed what he expected. High vibration, he now understood, was not excitement or positivity. It was steadiness. It was choosing not to rehearse trouble before it arrived. The ocean breathed. So did he.